Hello everyone, my name is PaperNapkin and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Pokemon FireRed. In the last episode we made our way to the top of Pokemon Tower of Lavender Town, and in this episode I intend to go all the way. That's right folks, I'm going all the way. At the end of the last episode I kind of mentioned how the tombstones are aquily colored. Purple, orange, and yellow are definitely not typical of tombstone colors. There's no real explanation for this, so I'm just going to chalk it up to Nintendo's artistic creativity. With artistic creativity in air quotes that you can't see. Speaking of artistic creativity, last night I went to the Legend of Zelda Symphony of the Goddesses concert, and I know I mentioned in quite a few episodes back that I was going to make a separate review video with some Zelda gameplay footage for you guys to watch. I've decided against this just because while I do have a lot to share about the concert, not all of which I want to do so via YouTube, especially via YouTube videos, just because my reasoning behind this is, for those of you that might actually go see the concert yourselves, it's probably a good idea to go into the concert knowing as little bit possible in terms of, song lists, what kind of visuals they're going to use, and, just what to expect in general. Just because that's what I did, and I feel that the whole experience because of that was, continuously new, continuously, exciting. I didn't know what to expect, and it was really, really awesome in the end. That being said, I will talk a little bit about, leading up to the concert. Ooh, that's a huge critical hit. That was kind of scary. And, just things I saw in general that doesn't kind of ruin the concert, but things that you can expect. First and foremost, being in a giant orchestra hall with hundreds, if not thousands, of hardcore Zelda fans was definitely an awesome experience. I've never experienced anything like that before. I've never been to, anime conventions or anything like that, or, video game conventions, so it was pretty new to me. And the thing is, I was expecting a lot of the younger generation, early teenage years, maybe even mid-teenage years, with their parents accompanying them, but that wasn't really the case. Yeah, there were quite a few of them, but more so there were mid-20s, early 30 gamers, which is around my age, so I definitely felt, comfortable and at home, and everyone was just super excited. You could totally tell it, the atmosphere, the environment, everyone was just so excited to be there. Everyone was talking, everyone was laughing. A lot of people had their Nintendo DS's out, which is good to see. And yeah, you could go up to people and, talk to them, and they knew exactly what you were talking about. I never felt more at home. You're a gamer when you're surrounded by all these gamers and you just kind of realize to yourself, this is where I belong, this is where I feel most comfortable, which was pretty cool. And leading up to the concert, they do have merchandise available for sale. At the Vancouver show, they had a t-shirt with the Symphony logo on it, and it's a black t-shirt with also has a Zelda symbol on the side sleeve. They also have a Symphony poster, which was pretty amazing, I have to say. If you want to pick one or the other, I'd probably go with the poster, just because it's cheaper and more memorable, more collectible too. The t-shirt might fade after wearing it for a while, whereas the poster, you can frame it and show it off to all your gaming friends. It's a little bit expensive. If you buy the two together, it's cheaper. I definitely recommend going early if you want to pick these items up, just because by the time I got there, I did go early, but there was already a huge lineup to get merchandise, and if you're a latecomer, chances are you might not actually get what you want, which would be pretty sad. Also, good idea, bring cash. The lineup for the debit/credit was really long, whereas the cash was almost instantaneous. Fortunately, my girlfriend had some money, so I kind of borrowed it off of her and got my poster and t-shirt right away, so I was pretty happy. Aside from merchandise, they also had some, Skyward Sword demos set up for people to play. They had some Zelda backgrounds that you could take pictures with, which was really cool, especially considering a lot of people were dressed up in, Link and Zelda costumes, which, I was expecting some people to do that, but there was actually a lot of people that did that. And whoa, I'm getting a little bit low on hit points here. The good thing about the costume was that the quality varied quite a bit. Obviously there was people that went out and spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars to get an authentic, Link costume, and they looked fantastic, I have to say. There were a couple of there that were just really well done. I was surprised. And But it was also really good to see the ones that people made themselves. While they weren't as good quality, you could totally tell that they put in a lot of work to get what they did. And it definitely showed, and I was really excited for them. I kind of wish I made my own costume, but I know it would have been just terrible. Going back to the game for a second, for rescuing Mr. Fuji, we do get the Pokeflute, which is useful for waking sleeping Pokemon, which is going to be really important for getting to the next town over. Interesting to note, while we rescued Mr. Fuji and he brought us out, if you go all the way back to the top of the Pokemon Tower and use the item finder where he was standing, you can find a Soothe Bell, which is a holdable item for Pokemon, which boosts their happiness level. It's pretty useful for certain Pokemon that evolve based on their happiness level. A good example is Golbat evolving into Crobat. If you get the item, it'll evolve a lot faster. But you do need the item finder for that. So unfortunately, I won't be able to go and do that just now. We have a couple different options of where to go. I'm going to go down this route here, which is Route 12, just because if I don't do it now, I feel as if I'm going to miss it in the end. Should probably heal up really quickly. And it's also a really good place to level up grass-type Pokemon, or even electric-type Pokemon, just because, as you can tell from the water, there are going to be a lot of water-type trainers. So I'm probably going to level up Goddish a little bit here, just because she's kind of falling behind. But yeah, going back to the concert. So I talked about costumes, and people were really nice about, getting pictures taken with them. Unfortunately, I was a little shy. I didn't really want to get my picture taken with anyone. Well, not that I didn't want to. I did want to. It's just I couldn't muster up the courage to do so. And yeah, what else can I talk about without ruining the concert for people that are going? Talked about merchandise, general atmosphere, costumes. Oh yeah, there was one girl. She made a Groose or Grouse, depending on how you want to pronounce it. Little doll thing. I don't know how she made it, but it was amazing. Like the quality and the time that she put into it, it was just fantastic. It was really good to see, really exciting to see. I wish I took a picture with her, but again, she was kind of swamped by a lot of people, in between the sets and before and after the concert. So I kind of felt bad, just for bothering her. And yeah, all in all, great experience. If you haven't thought about going to the concert and you know it's going to be in your area, I definitely recommend it. I'll leave a link in the description below, just kind of with the link to the schedule itself. And actually, as a member of Club Nintendo, they had a promotion where if you used the coupon code BOKOBLIN, or BOKOBLIN, depending how you want to pronounce it, you get 15% off tickets. But you don't have to be a Nintendo Club member to actually use it. So, anyone can use it. So I'll put that down in the description as well if you want to consider going to the concert. And yeah, that's pretty much what I'm just gonna, summarize for the concert now. If for whatever reason you want to know a little bit more about the concert, feel free to send me a message on YouTube. I'm more than willing to talk about what I saw, what I experienced. Maybe, the concert's not going to be in your area and you just want to, a general idea of what's going on. I'm more than happy to do that. And next up, Tentacool. I hate Tentacools just because they're water and poison type, which means you can't really use grass type moves as effectively. It still does good damage, but it's not super effective. Oh, okay. One last thing about the concert before I forget again. I know I've been asked this before already, but in terms of what to wear, I didn't know what to expect, especially since I've never been to a Symphony before. What I ended up doing was just wearing, a t-shirt and jeans. The t-shirt was video game related, so, kind of casual but kind of nerdy. I didn't know if I needed to dress up with, a tuxedo or anything like that, or a sport jacket. Nobody dressed up that formally. I don't know if it's going to be like that in other shows, but at least for Vancouver, most people were dressed up, in costumes or just casual t-shirt, sweater, hoodie, stuff like that, which was nice. That way, everyone's comfortable. Actually, in the same row as me and my girlfriend, there were these 3 middle-aged women, I would say. They were like 40 or so. They were dressed up pretty nicely, but I have a sneaky suspicion that they weren't actually Zelda fans. They were probably, family members of people performing in the orchestra itself. But yeah, but I mean, they might be Zelda fans, and I just, making stereotypes, but that's just kind of what I think. But But yeah, all in all, great experience. Definitely recommend it for those of you who have the opportunity to go. It's kind of a rare opportunity, I would say, especially for me in Canada. We don't really get video game orchestras here, if at all. Usually they're all in Japan, if I can remember correctly. I know in the States it's not, you know, as rare of an event, but hey, it's Zelda music, and it's a live orchestra. How more awesome is that? Do you really need an excuse to go out? I mean, I'd rather do that than go see a movie. And I will say, in terms of length, I didn't know what to expect. It didn't say on my ticket or anything like that. I was thinking maybe like an hour or so, but it turns out it was like 2 hours, which is pretty good. There is a little bit of a break in between, but yeah, it's pretty much, you know, a really continuous experience. The whole time I had goosebumps, and you know, I felt the shivers running down my spine as I was remembering, you know, specific memories of when I was playing the Zelda games myself, or you know, with my friends. So, I mean, of course, because of that, the concert's going to be received a little bit differently for each person, but definitely recommend it. Go check it out. I'm sure you guys will enjoy it. Now, getting back to the Pokemon that I'm playing, it's been like 10 minutes and I haven't really talked too much about it aside from Mr. Fuji. This route here, it doesn't have any grass per se, well, at all actually. Oh, this is gonna hurt. Ice is actually super effective against flying type, for those of you that didn't know. Fortunately, Shelter doesn't have that great of an attack stat, especially at this low level, so I don't have to worry too much. If it was a Cloyster, that would be a different story. They're quite a bit better. So yeah, there's no grass here, so we can't catch a new Pokemon that way. Coming up, though, there is a certain key item that we can pick up. You probably already know what it is, for those of you that played this game before, but it's going to let us get a new Pokemon. Though it might not be from this route. Dun dun dun! You'll find out. Hopefully, if this video doesn't take too long. But as you can see, there's a lot of, you know, water-type Pokemon, level 20. If you have a grass-type Pokemon or an electric-type Pokemon and you want to get some experience, this is a great place to level up before going to the next area. Unfortunately, I kind of ran out of Giga Drains on Goddess there, so she's kind of useless now. Well, not useless entirely. She does have Cut, which can do some pretty good damage. But hopefully I don't have to fight all the trainers. It's kind of one of those situations where you're on a narrow bridge and you can't really avoid them at all times. So this is the point where we have to use the Pokeflute to wake up the sleeping Pokemon. I'm just going to switch my Pokemon group a little bit, just because I'm going to need to for this upcoming fight. This is one of only 2 opportunities you can get to wake up Snorlax and catch one. So if you really want a Snorlax for your team, this is probably a good idea to, you know, to prepare for. Don't just go into this blindly. Make sure you have enough Pokeballs. Make sure you have a strategy, because especially if you accidentally kill the first one and you have to rely on the second one, it can be pretty risky. Personally, I hate Snorlax. I hate fighting Snorlax just because they have so much friggin' hit points, so defensively bulky, and it always rests and restores those hit points, so I'm just gonna roar it away and never have to deal with it again. I know a lot of you people are probably like, oh, Snorlax is so awesome, but no. I hate Snorlax with a passion. Ugh. This is another situation. If you have the item finder, if you use it right here, you will find a Leftovers, which is a really cool item, especially if you're doing a Nuzlocke challenge or, you know, competitive battling online. What this item does is you give it to a Pokemon, and at the end of every turn, it will restore 1/16 of the Pokemon's maximum hit points. It rounds down a little bit. It doesn't do decimal places, obviously, and yeah, it's really good for you know, restoring your hit points without using potions and whatnot. But if we come over here, we have a little house, and inside this house, we have a Fishing Guru's younger brother. If you remember, for the Fishing Guru, we got the Old Rod, which was pretty useless. It only let us catch a Magikarp. By talking to this guy, we get the Super Rod, which is actually the 3rd in the line of rods. The good rod, which is in between the 2, you actually get in the next city, but for whatever reason, I always get the Super Rod first, which is actually a good thing and a bad thing. I'm not going to catch a Pokemon here just yet, if at all. I'm actually going to go back to Pallet Town. Why, you ask? You'll see soon. But yeah, the main difference between the good rod and the super rod is, while with the good rod you can actually catch a different Pokemon as opposed to Magikarp with the old rod, the super rod, you know, makes it so those Pokemon that you can catch with the good rod appear much more frequently, and there's a less likely chance of encountering a Magikarp, which is always awesome. So I'm just going to switch my party about, and I guess I'll go into Goddish, since she does know Sleep Powder, and I really want to catch a Pokemon here. This is the water-type Pokemon that I was alluding to before. I wonder if anyone's guessed this properly. You will find out soon. I know a few of you already have, so and probably a few of you already know now, based on this area. But the next Pokemon to join my team is going to be... Let's try this again. The next Pokemon that's going to be on our team is... Find out next time in the next episode of Let's Play Pokemon FireRed. My name is PaperNapkin, and I'm sorry.